Hello.
Hey there.
It's Haley and Brooke. We are going to be doing a interview today with this amazing designer, talented Brooke from TourNewSoul.
Thank you.
We're gonna give everybody a few seconds to kind of get in, join us now that they just got their Twitch notification. Ooh,
Sounds
my phone's playing loud noises. My
good.
bad. Okay. Wow. I just want to see the chat. We obviously the chat's in the comments there for us, and I'm just trying to pull up the Twitch channel because it makes my life easier to do that. All right, cool. We've got 6 in the chat. Hello, how you doing today? Gonna warm up everybody, get everyone excited to be here because I am.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This is awesome. Thank you guys so
Yay!
much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We're very excited to have you today, and I love that you're wearing your new collection that you put out. Super
Thanks.
cute.
That's what I do. Oh my gosh. Woo woo. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Tito. Thank you for being here.
Tito Burrito. All right.
Way to shine. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh.
Alrighty. So, just to give us a few seconds, why don't you introduce yourself and maybe say a few words about yourself, and then we'll get into some of the questions.
All right. My name is Brooke. It's super nice to meet you all. I'm the owner and designer of TourNewSoul. I've been running my brand for a little over 10 years now, and I'm just very excited to share my knowledge and my passion with all of you. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. So, to jump into the questions, how did you first discover both Lolita fashion and J fashion in general?
Yeah, I really had to think about this one because it's tough. I feel like I discovered J fashion probably through manga and anime, I think originally. Through things like Nana, the manga, and just things like that. I saw these really cool outfits, and they really made an impression on me. And it got me wondering what this whimsical fashion was. The strong silhouettes of Lolita fashion with these really big puffy skirts, and just the intricate cool detail of J fashion. Like, I had to know more. So I ended up buying my first brand dress from Black Piece Now when it was still around in the new People Building in San Francisco, and
Mm-hmm.
I've like never gone back. It just the quality just it killed me. I was obsessed. So
Yeah, I miss Black Piece now a ton. I definitely got a few pieces from the shop even before I moved to San Francisco, so I
I know
understand.
it's such a bummer it closed. It's really too bad,
Such a
but
bummer.
yeah. So
Yeah, I definitely would say that I think a lot of people maybe like our age really got into like Lolita or J fashion in general just from a lot of different mangas because a lot of them at that time period were using that style in a lot of their arts. Like Clamp put out a lot of pieces that had that influence.
yeah.
Um, remember Princess Ai, which was Courtney Love's little project?
I actually don't. It's funny you bring that up. I know Courtney Love, and I think I have a pair of shoes from Courtney Love,
Wow.
but no, I don't remember Princess. I'm gonna have to look this up.
Oh yeah, it's a very like J fashion inspired weird little storyline that was she apparently was like the project manager for. I don't know. I just remember being like, this is interesting. But yeah, just a lot of different manga from that time period had a lot of J fashion influence.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely
absolutely.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know you started your brand as an accessories company first, and most recently started getting into clothing as well.
Mhm.
Are you formally trained in millinery? Because I know you're very well known for your teacup hats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, actually, I'm not. I'm completely self-taught. I so after I got into Lolita fashion, I started to see that there was kind of a gap in the market for hair accessories in general. I just felt like there wasn't enough, and I knew that there wasn't enough because I wanted them. I wanted to wear them. So, as a three-dimensional artist, I felt that maybe I could fill that gap, and I just started experimenting and creating, and started my brand and started making hats. From there, I mean, like, I've delved into more how would you say it? More traditional ways of constructing millinery, and I've kind of found a method that works for me that's a little bit of both. But it's taken a lot of experimentation and time, and like I said, it's all completely self-taught. So I like to mention that too. I'm glad you guys asked because I think that a lot of people always assume that you have to be formally trained to do any type of art, whether it's hat making or clothing or anything. And I really don't think you do. I think you just need to give it a go. So yeah.
I think that's pretty true. Anything hands on, just get in there.
Yeah, no, totally, totally. Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, so your next question is kind of your products used to be in Marquee and as San Francisco, and I think also you did like a pop up maybe at Fickle Wish in LA, but both of those have unfortunately closed. Are there any other physical stores in the US that you are currently partnered with or that you would like to partner with?
Um, yeah, so I was also partnered with Fairy Tale Boutique when they were around, and there were a couple others that we were partnered with around the country. Like there's one in Tulsa. I think there was another one in LA at some point. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi guys. Hi Rude. Hi Doki. Hi Sassy. Thank you guys so much for being here. Um, okay. I think that yeah, as much as I loved working with these stores, I actually at this point in time, I am so overwhelmed with orders that I am fully focused on just like putting my full force behind my online store and just making sure that I can keep up with demand. So it's really it's been a lot of work. I'm really thankful for it. But yeah, I don't think I have enough resource at this time to expand out beyond just trying to put my full force behind the brand and like I said on my online store at this time. So yeah.
Yes, scaling is really hard, so I totally
Yes.
understand.
As well, especially when you're doing it. I mean, I'm making everything by hand, so there is no manufacturing, and yeah, it's a lot of work, but oh man, is it really fun? So
Yeah.
yeah.
What are some of the things that inspire your creative process?
Oh yeah, that's such a good question. There's so many things that inspire me. When I looked over this question, I really thought about it. I'd have to say the way that I work when I create a design is I really try to focus on motifs that I really like. So, for the example, that the collection I'm wearing currently, which is my most recent collection, the strawberry collection, I chose that I really wanted to focus on strawberries. And I thought to myself, okay, what can we do with this that's different or something that I haven't seen that I want to wear? And that's usually my starting point. So I pick a motif and I think about how I can kind of create something that feels fresh to me. So in this case, I had, like I said, I picked the motif. I looked and I found some prints that I felt like really inspired me. This is such a cute print from oh my god, I'm forgetting the name right now, but it's just a Japanese brand that like the print just spoke strawberry to me so much that I was like, I have to use this. And then I just kind of worked that all in. So it tends to be a very organic process for me, but yeah, that is generally how I find inspiration is just, through these textiles, through these motifs and just kind of putting my brain to the grindstone and seeing what comes out. So,
Totally understand.
yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that. You think you did a macaron collection before that, and that was really cute. I liked all the different pastel colors you were doing. So like, I
Yeah,
definitely,
that was a different yeah, that was a tough one because I tend to be more of a classic designer. So yeah, trying to go into a little bit more sweet was that was an experience and a really fun one. So thank you. I appreciate
yeah, yeah. And this whole collection was not really like Lolita. It was more. I can't pronounce that word. Like larm.
yeah,
Okay, I
it's
can't.
Larm. Yeah,
Yeah,
Larm K. Yeah, which for those of you who don't know, Larm K is kind of like I'd say it was kind of inspired by Larm magazine, which is this really great magazine you guys can pick up at like I don't know, your local Japanese bookstore or online. But yeah, it's this kind of like gal fashion mixed with just something totally crazy and poppy. But yeah, yeah, this one was definitely less towards Lolita and more towards that. I wanted to try something new, so I'm always trying to
yeah.
push myself in that
I
way,
definitely feel like it can be stagnant working in the same silhouette all the time. So I totally get
Yeah,
you.
I totally agree. Yeah, I feel like if you're not trying to push yourself further, then you're not growing enough. So, yeah.
Um, so how did you learn to sew? And we talked about how you moved from accessories to clothing recently. What kind of inspired you to make that jump?
Yeah, how did I learn to sew and what? Yeah, That's an interesting one. I mean, to start, I'll start with the end of the question. Why I wanted to make the jump? I had always wanted to make clothing. When I started making the hats, I had always had this vision in my head of designs that would match with the hats, always. But I never felt like I had as much skill in clothing making. And so for me, especially after about 4 or 5 years of being pretty established as TourNewSoul and the brand, and like us being known for our level of detail and skill and care that we're put into the hats, I didn't want to bring the clothing into the picture until the clothes could match the quality that the hats had. Because it was really important to me that I kept that image of us, that we only present high quality stuff. So it took me a while to get there, in terms of how I learned. So it took me a long time. I was really afraid. I'm going to be honest with you. I was afraid because I was afraid of failing. Jumping into a new skill is terrifying. I'm really glad that I finally decided to just take the jump and do it. I met this really amazing teacher. Her name is Amy. She actually now runs a sewing studio and teaching space out of Los Angeles called Stitch Space. If anybody is in the area that wants to learn, highly recommend Amy. She is incredible. Her and her partner Sam just run such a cool space. So she had taught me for about 2 years or so. And then this last year and a half, 2 years has just been mostly experimentation, occasional calls, being like, hey, how would you do this? Or how, like just kind of like soundboarding off of her. She's, like I said, she's just such a cool person with such an open mind when it comes to my designs. Because when I had approached her originally, I was like, okay, so here's the deal. I know that patterns exist. I want to learn how to break every rule because I don't want to be told what to do. I want to do it my own way because I have these visions in my head that just don't fit anything that I see. So she was really able to work with me like that, and here I am today.
Nice. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like kind of trade schools or like art spaces that a lot of people don't think about because like a lot of people think about traditional school, which actually doesn't teach you how to sew if you're going
Yeah.
into fashion design. So I think it's really funny that a lot of people overlook those things. And that's actually where you would learn those skills.
Right. I know you would assume. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I noticed that we've got a lot of your stream followers in the chat today.
Oh,
So
nice.
you started streaming recently, your process, and how is that going? Obviously pretty well since they're here, but
Yes. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you all. It's going incredibly well. Incredibly well. I cannot believe I've only been doing this for a little over 5 months now. I started in February and we're heading into July now. And oh my gosh, it's I don't even know where to start. I didn't have an expectation when I started the Twitch channel. My husband had been like, you should give this a try, you might like it. And I said, okay, let's figure it out. Just stream a creative process and let's see what happens. And I wasn't sure if anybody would ever be interested in watching what I create, or kind of accepting my energy. I feel like I kind of, especially on camera, I tend to have like a really like high positive energy, and this is like a part of me that I never ever really got to share with others, and so I get to bring it to the forefront of Twitch, which is really fun. But yeah, it's going exceedingly well. We're actually already above the top 1%. We're in the top 1% of Twitch, actually a little bit above that so
nice.
far. So yeah, it's been a journey. I still can't believe it myself. The community that we've created, the friends that I've made, it's been, I'm so grateful for it. Every single day that I stream on Twitch. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, I stream on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Please come and join and hang with us. I'd love to meet every single one of you that I haven't said hi to or met yet. It's the coolest. Like I think I've described Twitch before, kind of like being at a convention, but 4 days a week, and you don't have to set up your stuff. So, like in some ways, it can be tough because you always have to be turned on. But for me, that's actually, I think, kind of my natural setting. So I think it's ended up working out really well. I get to be authentic in myself and just have fun in making things. We sew things from design, drawing the design to full creation of like sewing the final product and then putting it up online. I've done release parties for the strawberry collection. We did a release party. I've done we do cooking occasionally, gaming, and hat making. I'll do hat making, which this one's really fun. We do hat making on stream, and I'll actually have the audience work with me. to make, add certain colors or certain themes to hats. It's been so cool. I like, where else in the world can you do this? You know what I mean? So it's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad that's really working out for you.
Yeah.
Like I stream on Twitch every once in a while, but I'm like so focused that I can't. I have like really bad ADD and I can't interact with people and focus on my work. So it's not something I can do very well. So I'm very like quiet and in
Yeah.
my space and like in my head zone. I'll look up and say hi every once in a while. But to be
Yeah, well,
really
that's
successful, you have
yeah.
to be like very on. And I think you probably do a really great job of that. So
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that everybody, there is also a market for that too. You know what I mean? The cool thing about Twitch is it's such a wide variety of really just a different group of people. So you never know. I mean, a lot of people will watch somebody just work quietly
Oh
all
yeah, I
day,
mean I've
and
got
that's
very loyal followers, even though I don't stream very often.
exactly
Because for me, it's more about like getting into a place where I want to have the time to do it, and I'm always just
right.
unfortunately, I have to be in and out of my studio so often. It's like I only have an hour of time to like really set up, make sure my cameras are working and all that. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, not today.
yeah. I feel that.
Not today. I just don't have it. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool that once you get your setup like set up, it's easy to just get back into it and like just jump in. But my space is kind of a shared space, so it's hard for me to like reset everything all the time.
Right.
But
No, that totally makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. I'm on the ASMR side, so kind of. I do love the sound. I have like a buttonholer machine on my industrial, and it like makes this like really cool like click 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 click, like it's very clockwork, and that's like one of my favorite things when I pull that out. It's very ASMR. I definitely feel that. So. But yeah, I definitely love like your stream sounds like the kind of stream I would enjoy going and participating in and having a lot of fun
Well,
in.
we'd love to have you. So
Yeah, I'll drop by
anytime.
sometime when I when I'm paying attention to what time it is. I always lose track of time. Let's see here. Is there an idea you've had on the back burner for a long time that you're really dying to like produce?
Yeah, there's a bunch. um, so it's always kind of hard to choose like just one. My brain just I my mom's always told me since I was little, I was like the type of kid that she'd have to set up these stations because I'd be like, okay, I want to paint now. I want to draw now over here. I want to do this, I want to do that. So that's actually kind of how I design is I'm like, okay, I like this right now. No, I want this. No, I want this. No, I want this. But I a design I had to pinpoint one, and if I did, I'd have to say it was there's this design that I'm working on that I hadn't. I knew that when I started sewing, I didn't have the skill for it, and I'm really excited because I finally feel like I'm entering into this next stage of my sewing career where I can really take on much more complicated projects. So I have this collection I am kind of working out right now based on skeletal anatomy and
Ooh,
intermixed with a lot of embroidery elements and a lot of really cool construction. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. We're going to see how it goes. And if all goes well, we're going to be streaming it on Twitch soon. So
ooh,
you guys can watch that happen. Just like the strawberry collection took me 2 months to do that, basically on stream, and hopefully we'll see how long this one takes. But there should
yeah.
be a bunch
Well,
of. Sorry.
I was just gonna say it'd be perfectly well timed if you like get all of the collection ready for like Halloween.
Yes. Now that's kind of the goal. We'll see. I have to finish up my commissions in the strawberry collection pre-orders, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, that would be amazing. So hopefully we can get that out in time.
Oh,
So
maybe for Grammary, right?
what was that?
Maybe for Grammary.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
Um, so you make items that span many different types of J fashion, like we talked about Alarm K earlier, and I definitely feel like a lot of stuff has like otome vibes. Does that reflect kind of more your personal style and what you like to wear, or is that just your designs? Because I don't wear that much Lolita right now personally, but I mostly design Lolita.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally get that. And I'm just gonna mention, guys, and when I look over on the side here, I'm looking at chat, just so you know, I'm not like, um, yeah, I all the stuff that I design, I wear, everything. So, my philosophy to design in general is make what you want to wear, and I've always thought to myself that if I don't see it in the market and it's something that I want, then obviously I have to design it for myself. And that also it helps inform, in my opinion, like the fact that there may be other people also looking for it. So At the end of the day, yeah, everything that I design, I wear these styles that I'm really inspired by. Absolutely, I wear them all the time. I actually wear a lot of these on stream as well, which is kind of fun because now I have a space 4 days a week to actually dress up for.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
haven't been
fun.
out, you know what I mean? Before that, I was saying to stream that I'm like, man, I've been in my pajamas for like the past 8 or 9 months, like most people during COVID, and it's really nice to be able to wear my clothes again. And I have such a big closet full of clothes, Haley. It's insane. Like, I'm trying to convince my husband to give me more space because I'm like, I have too many shoes. Like, you don't understand. We need to make space for this. I'm not going to give them up. So it's really, yeah, it's such an important part of my life to wear all of this stuff because it really inspires me. And when I wear it, like I'm wearing it now, I mean, when I wear this stuff, I get a really good intuitive feeling as to like what feels good, what I want to wear next, what am I looking for in my closet that I don't have already. So I think it kind of feeds into into my whole inspiration in design
Yeah,
ultimately as well. So yeah.
absolutely. We were just talking about like not having anywhere to go, but California, things are starting to open back up. So, are there any in-person events or like cons or anything that you think you're planning on or would like or you're excited about?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm excited to go anywhere in person. So, in terms of just like in-person things at all, I'm excited to go back to the fashion district, and I cannot wait to start traveling again. It's on my agenda to go back to Japan to go buy fabric in Japan again. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to do that in person for sure. In terms of events, I'm signed up for Anime Los Angeles, which is still, I believe, scheduled to go, and that is in January. I believe out of Anaheim, California. It's in California for sure. They
Yeah.
keep changing the location, so it's hard to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I was like, I
Yeah,
know it's jumped around quite a bit.
it really has. It's I mean, it keeps growing, which is fantastic. And it's a fun convention. It's a really fun convention. It doesn't have the same feel as any other convention I've been to in California. So I always love going to it when I get the chance. I'm also signed up for Fanime as well. So we'll see when that happens. But yes, and I'm looking forward to that one. I haven't been back to Fanime. That one, for those of you who don't know, is in San Jose, California. So it's sort of near San Francisco. I haven't been back to Fanime in, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. It's been a while. I know, I believe Lolita Collective had vended it at Fanime, so I think I may have had my stuff there at some. Have they not?
I don't
I'm
think
not sure.
so.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
think I sold some of your stuff at one of our things, but I don't think Lulu
yeah.
Collective's ever been at
Okay,
anime.
okay, yeah. So, well, yeah. So it's been a while. It's definitely been a
Yeah.
while. So, I'm excited to go back to that one. We've always done really well at Fanime. It's a great community out there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's very big. We're
fun.
supposed to have our own J fashion department starting next year. Again, fingers crossed.
That would
So
be
there would be a fashion
amazing.
show that would be in a totally separate building. So we're gonna see. We're gonna
Wow.
see. Yeah. So
Oh my god. Well, now I can't wait even more.
we'll
That
see
sounds
if it
awesome.
actually pans out. I don't know what the new planning is gonna be
Yes,
like.
fingers
So we'll
crossed. Fingers
see. We'll
crossed.
see.
Oh, that's great.
Um, we talked a little bit about this when we were talking about your streaming. What are the other hobbies you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, so yeah, I stream a lot. So I know it sounds funny because you're like free time and do you consider streaming free time? But I do I do stream some games and cooking like I said on stream, and those are kind of like really fun just separate activities. I Because I like to kind of mix in just a variety of things and to have fun with the audience. So as I don't know if that sounds counterintuitive, but I have a lot of fun doing those. Those are always really really fun. The last one we did, we made donuts shaped like
Ooh.
my character mascot. Hold on, I'll pull him up. He's great. Hold on.
Okay.
This is Bentley. He's like a super
Oh,
I'm part of our
cutie.
Twitch channel. He's the emotes. If you guys want to throw Bentley
Oh,
face
cute.
up in chat. Yeah, we love Bentley. Bentley is our boy. Yes. So we did Bentley donuts, which were really fun. But anyway, outside of streaming, I play a little Fortnite with my husband. And that's really fun. And it's so funny because whenever I mention that to people, people are like, "You play Fortnite?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I play Fortnite." I
Why not?
it's one of those things I very much underestimated how much fun it would be. It is a fun game, I have to tell you guys. So, if you haven't started playing it, it's free, so give it a try.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
I
then
used to play COD, so
oh yeah, yep, yeah. It's
yeah.
basically like colorful Call of Duty.
Yeah, I
But
mostly just want to like get my rage out, so
yep, yep. There you go. Oh man,
oh my god.
yeah.
All gamers at heart, I swear to God.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that it always comes back to that. I watch a lot of anime too.
Mhm.
I've been slowly trying to get through some of the more popular ones now because I watch a lot of kind of more obscure anime. But I just finished Jujutsu Kaisen and with my husband, and we're finally getting back to Attack on Titan because I haven't finished that one yet. I usually like to wait till a series ends before I start another one because I hate waiting. Makes
Yep,
me so
gotta
frustrated.
pile drive the whole series at
I
once.
know. Although I will say we did we watched Dorohedoro, which if nobody's seen that one, it is a weird anime that I am obsessed with. And I do not regret the fact that I have to wait forever for a second season. It's okay. So
I think I watch a lot of like more shoujo style anime these days than shonen. The ones that I watch that are shonen are like older ones like Fairy Tail.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not into like most of the current stuff. One of my
Yeah.
favorite shoujo's had a second season, like after like five or 6 years or something. They're like, oh, season two finally dropped. I was like, oh,
But then you have
so
to watch season one all over again because it's been 6 years, right?
yeah, I know. You're like, hold
Yeah.
on, I gotta go watch this whole show. Yeah,
Oh my
I love it.
gosh.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
I love anime.
Me too. Me too.
We're gonna get into some of the slightly more serious questions. What are your personal struggles as an indie designer or brand owner? And we all have our own individual struggles. You can talk about those and just kind of ones that are like very relatable as well to like, the design process or whatever.
Yeah. What are my struggles? Right now, my biggest struggle is, like I'd mentioned before, it's keeping up with orders. Like I said, I make everything in house. We don't do any type of manufacturing or anything like that. So everything is made by hand. So there is, my struggle is that I need more hours in a day. If only, says every artist in the entire world. But yeah, I'd say that that is a big one. But at the same time, I also kind of thrive off of how much work I have. It just makes me like want to fight for it that much harder, and I have so much passion for it, and sharing that passion with my customers really like makes this experience so much fun. So I do have to say that it's a double-edged sword. It's tough, but it's also the best. So yeah, in terms of other like smaller struggles, I mean, even for somebody like me that I feel like at this point I've really come into my stride as a sewist. I have to say that trying to puzzle out certain more complicated patterns always a struggle. I recently for actually specifically for this shirt, this is made with two cups, and it's like a little crop top piece here.
Hmm.
It was my first time sewing cups together, and for any of those of you who don't know how that works, you essentially have to take two like semicircles like this and somehow put them together, and it makes no sense. And it's like that is the beauty and frustration of sewing. Is there are times when you're sewing something and you're like, "What am I doing?" And then suddenly it's done, and you're like, "What? How did this happen?" Like that it's just it's mind blowing. It's again actually it's one of the reasons why I love sewing so much because it can be so weirdly complicated and then also acts absolutely so simple. But yeah, it can be a struggle when you're first kind of approaching these new patterns, these new designs. You're like, oh my god, like I know you're telling me to do this, but this makes no sense. I don't trust you. So and being who I am, if for those of you who sit on stream with me and see me work, you know for a fact that I tend to be the type of designer that doesn't like to follow rules. Like I said at the beginning, I asked my sewing teacher when I started, what are the rules I have to learn and what are the rules that I can break because I really don't like following I don't like following rules. I always like experimenting. I don't like to be told what to do. I want to kind of learn, fail, try again and make it perfect the way that I think about it in my head. And so, yeah, there are a lot of times where I'm like, oh no, screw this. We're not doing this anymore. We're going to try something completely different. I know it says to do this, but, and this is actually how we arrived at both of these pieces. I have my pleated skirt on as well. Then I'm like, yeah, we're just going to kind of go in my own direction for this one. So, yeah.
So do you do your own like flat patterning, or do you start with like kind of a base pattern and alter it, or do you do draping? It's kind of
I
like
don't
the patterning questions.
Yeah, yeah, I don't do draping. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. There was a chatter the other day that had asked me if I do live draping, and it's something that, I mean, I do it. I've experimented occasionally with it, but I won't say that it's normally the way that I create. That being said, once it was brought up to me, I was like, oh, well, now I have to be good at it. Like, let's do it, you know. And
Yeah,
knowing me,
I
I
love draping, and like people always assume when you say you drape your patterns that you mean like, you know, like kind of really pleated stuff. I'm like, no, 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 no.
mm-mm,
Talk about
throw it on.
like a plain pattern. You start with a like you know, you drape the fabric on the dress form, and that's how I get to my patterns.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's really funny because
Um,
Aria from Lolita Dahlia, she's a flat pattern
mhm.
maker, and she's just like, "Ew, you drape." And I'm like, "Ew, you pattern." It's kind of like the two diametrically opposed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess I've been in my own little sewing bubble, so it's hard to, like I haven't even experienced that level of like clashingness. It's interesting. I love any type of creation. I tend to be like a pretty open-minded creator, so like I said, once somebody had mentioned this to me, now I'm like, it's on my mind. I can't stop thinking about it. We're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to do this. So I'll probably give it a try, and then we'll probably do it on stream at some point, just something fun. But for the most part, the way that I create my designs are through yeah, I'll do a lot of like flat patterning, I suppose you call it, where usually I'll draw it out ahead of time, and I'll do all my measurements on there, cut it out and go for it. If it's something on the simpler side, so I've mentioned this before on stream, but the Lolita skirts are quite simple. It's just usually a bunch of rectangles and just different size rectangles. That's usually what it comes down
It's
to.
true.
Okay, so you need one for your waistband, you need one for your dress. If you're having multiple sections, you have multiple rectangles.
It's
So those
true.
are super duper simple. There are occasions where I'll take a pattern, a more commercial pattern, and sew it out, and then change it. To be what I want it to be. What's really important to me is that if I do that method, that it still has my own voice to it, because I don't necessarily feel right like creating somebody else's voice or concept. So
Hmm.
it always comes down to how can we kind of change this a little bit to be mine. And that's usually how I arrive at my final designs. So it's a mix of everything. It's kind of a grab bag. Usually it just starts with what is my intention from the beginning, and then I'll kind of look through and see if where can I break this down. If it's a gathered skirt, we don't need a pattern for that, obviously. If it's a really structured bodice, okay, maybe we'll look at something and see how other people do it, and go from there. So it just depends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, so back to, I guess, kind of more uh, some more questions that are more serious again. If you could tell someone who's interested in becoming a new designer one piece of advice, what would you give to them?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is a great question. Yeah, I oh there's and it's so hard because there's so many answers. And it's actually something I talk about occasionally on stream, because I want everybody to follow their passions and their goals. So yeah. Um you know, I would say that as somebody looking to start their own brand, their own business, I'd say start looking for help. And what I mean by that is that as somebody that runs their own business by themselves, I get a lot of help from those around me. And I used to be the type of person that felt nervous or sometimes too prideful to ask for help. And that's always ended up shooting me in the foot. I think that I have done my best work in life when I have been able to open myself up and ask for help from all sorts of people. So, for example, my husband set up this whole stream. He works in production, and he's really really good at that. And being, if it were me of 10 years ago, I would have been too embarrassed to ask. I would have tried to figure it out myself, and it would have been completely different. And it's like, I'm just so glad that I had asked. I just ask. Same goes for so many parts of my business, because while I am the creative, founder, and I'm the one that makes these things. There's so much help behind the scenes, in just so many different ways. Me calling my sewing teacher whenever I need help, or you know, just spitballing all sorts of questions. Sometimes it's a gut check. Sometimes it's, I need some cheering on. I need help in that way. So I think it's about finding people that you can ask to help support you and start there. And don't ever be embarrassed for asking for help and for asking for, what you need. I think that the moment that you're able to do that is the moment that you will start coming into your own, and just finding your own pace there, if that makes any sense.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely, one of my big things is I always tell people to like find the things that you're not good at and either hire them out or figure out who you can learn from. 'Cause
yeah.
I hate taxes, so I
Oh
have
my
an
God.
accountant.
I know. I always say to my husband, I'm like, okay, so I'm like the creative type, and he's much more organized than me. And so he's the organized type. And he was like, Brooke, you got to do your taxes. And I'm like, I'd much rather just look at this form for 3 months and just have anxiety about it and then do it on the last day. Like,
Yeah.
don't put this on me. I can't do this. He was the one
No.
that figured out my inventory forms and stuff like that. Like, thank God for my husband. I don't know how my business would run without him behind the scenes. And the fact is that without his support originally, I wouldn't have even been able to take this full time.
Yeah.
So, talk about asking for help. I mean, he's literally supported me into and waited for the brand to be something that could stand on its own 2 feet and bring in enough of a profit to be able to really like fund those funds back into living.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah, totally.
Absolutely. Um, what are some of your plans for the future? And then after that, I'm gonna start opening up some of the questions to the chat. So I'm gonna let them think about that when we talk about your plans for the future.
Yes, and feel free, you guys, ask any questions. I want to know. I want to know. What are some of my plans for the future? There's so many plans, Haley. It's crazy. I starting with my brand, I'm really looking to expand upon my current offerings. I'd really like to start making more one of a kind, just couture pieces. These pieces that are just over the top. I'm seeing now that there is more of a demand for this, which makes me so happy because the artist in me wants nothing more than to just create these like out of control, extravagant pieces, and just see who takes a shine to it. So I definitely want to start working on some pieces like that, as well as I'd really like to start looking at creating some smaller things that we can offer as well, like stickers and keychains and things of that variety. It's something that I had never really dipped my foot into previously, mostly because I'm so focused on the handmade aspect. But I do think that I know my viewers on Twitch have been asking forever for some Bentley merch. So I think it's
Smart.
time. Yeah.
Smart.
Yes, I know. Well, gotta listen to your viewers, right? Like,
That's true.
it is the best. You guys are the best. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, I really want to take TourNewSoul in that direction as well. And I'm looking at opening up a Patreon soon, so that's another really big step for me. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but I've always felt afraid. And I'm kind of in this point in my life where I'm like, you know what? Throw caution to the wind. Just give it a try.
Let's
As
do
my
it.
Yeah, as my husband has mentioned, we've talked at length about this concept of sustainability versus risk, and it's really important. This applies very much to Twitch. That you have to have enough sustainability in everything that you do that you don't burn out, but still take enough risks that you stay interested, active. You're constantly challenging yourself. So I think that really applies to Torn a Soul, is trying to find that risk. So yeah, so we're looking at extending out to Patreon. And on the note of Twitch, I am really hoping that we can hit partner by the end of this year. So we'll see what happens, but we've had great numbers, great success, and a great community that really is such a big support that I do think that it's possible. And I think that there would be nothing cooler than being a partner on Twitch that runs around with a bunch of stuffed animals making cute J fashion things. I think we
Cute.
need more of that. So
Cute. I'm
yeah,
here for it.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah. So
So, chat, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Miss Brooke? Or I can definitely think of other deep thoughts to have.
yes, please ask away. Oh my
I mean, I'm
gosh.
sure your viewers have a chance to talk to you all the time, so it's hard, you know. Oh, did you ever learn through books, videos, or websites? That's a good question.
Thanks, El Rude. Oh my gosh, El Rude. El Rude. Do I ever learn things through books, videos, and websites? Yeah, all the time, all the time. And you guys, those that follow me on Twitch, you guys know that there are times when, like, I haven't installed an invisible zipper in something in a while.
Hmm.
So I was up on, like, I'm on my tablet on the side, like, all right, how do we do this again? Like, let's get back into it, because I mean, there's only so much space in your brain
Oh
for
yeah.
everything all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
So I'm constantly referencing things and just jogging my memory. I mean, because I'm not infallible. Oh my gosh, as a human, I'm constantly like, oh wait, how do we do this again? So
I
yes,
mean, you
yes,
can't know everything all the time. Again, if you don't do it very often, Jesus, like
yeah.
I sometimes do a few pieces of like vaguely menswear and I have to do like a welt pocket. The hell, I can't fucking remember how to do a welt pocket. I only did it like 5 times in like the
Right.
last 20 years. Like I don't
That's what
know.
I'm saying. Yes. You do not need to know how to do a welt pocket off the top of your head. Absolutely not.
There's books and YouTube for this.
Yes, exactly. In terms of books, I have a couple great books. I should pull them up on stream sometime, but for just some really basic sewing, just basic stuff that I like to reference, just because it's a really good way of just kind of I don't know, tickling my brain and thinking about things in a different light. When you look at the ways that people can break things down simply, you go, okay, well, how can I do this to X, Y, and Z? So those types of books are really, really easy. I think I have like one that's like 150 simple patterns or something like that. It's
Oh
great.
yeah, it's fun.
My mother-in-law gave it to me, and it's been awesome. And let's see, through videos. Yeah, there are times when I'm sewing patterns. I'm sure you've experienced this too, especially with Berta patterns. I have to say, Berta is a mystery yet solved. When it comes to patterns,
Oh
their
man.
explanations for things are absolutely confusing. So
Yeah, I haven't really used commercial powers in a long time, but every once in a while, like I'll do a project where like maybe it's like pants. I don't make pants that often. I don't have a pattern laying around for pants, so
yeah,
like and then you get into it, you're like, what are these directions? Who
it
wrote
is
these?
out of control. It's out of control, and I'll sit on
Who
stream,
what?
being like, you guys, this is insane. Like, how do we do this?
Yeah,
Berta, what are you doing to me? Like, how do I put my brain back together after reading this? Yeah,
I
it's
think
out of
one of the
control.
hardest things to both explain and do right and have any concept of how to do is like a fly.
Yes. Yeah. And I have to say, I actually haven't even had the opportunity to do a fly yet, but a pair of jeans is on my list to give a try. I've always
I'll
avoided.
tell you, the fly is the hardest part because I had to do one for
Okay.
like a construction class. Like when I went to a trade school, so we actually had to learn how to sew stuff, and that was the one thing I was like, I don't think I want to do this again. I was like, if
I
I'm
think
doing
I'm good. I think
pants,
I'm good.
yeah, I was like, if I'm doing pants, can I do like an invisible side seam zipper, like a women's trouser? I'm gonna do that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, in fact, the pants that we make, and most of the stuff that I make, when it comes to bottoms or separates, I always try to put in that elastic waistband in the back. And it's not just for ease of sewing, which, waistbands in itself are a little bit of a monster, but it's the fact that it's way more comfortable. Like, you can gain or lose a couple pounds and not have to like worry, oh my god, is my favorite skirt or my favorite pair of pants gonna fit? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like, zippers, who needs them? But yeah, so
especially those invisible zippers, they pop all the time.
oh my gosh, I know. Well, yeah, and actually, there's a funny story. That I told on stream the other day. The first dress that I ever made with an invisible zipper, I had made it by myself. I was really excited. It was fully finished, and I zipped it up my back, and I was like, oh, this fits so well. And I'm sure you can see where this is going. I tried to zip it back down, and it got stuck in the lining halfway down, and it was probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life. I've never been a claustrophobic person, but there's something about being stuck in a dress that you've spent 15 hours creating that you don't want to cut apart. That you're like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I get out of this thing? So for me, we installed an invisible zipper on a commission the other day, and I was like, you know what? I know that in photos they're normally the fabric is right against it and you really don't see it, but I'm like, I don't want to ever doom somebody to be stuck in an invisible zipper like mine. I always leave a little bit extra room. You know what I mean? I would much rather you see a little bit of the zipper and not have to question what reality is and how to get out of an item than than have to yeah.
Yeah, I've fully switched over to traditional zippers, so this doesn't
Yeah.
happen anymore because I agree. And
Yeah.
the funny, if you're mentioning the story of getting stuck, the last time I got stuck was in an AP dress.
Oh
And
my
it
god.
was like a pullover, like half sheared one, and it just was like a really hot day. And in San Francisco, we don't have AC. We just
Yeah.
don't because
It never gets
normally
that hot there.
it
Yeah.
never. But this is like a day where it happened to be 90, so I was like sweating, and I got stuck to the lining because I was sweating.
No. Let me out. Get me out of this. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I
No.
was
Yeah.
like this
Talking about like
close to going down to my neighbors and being like, "Can you just get it over my
yeah,
tits?"
exactly. Like you either you find a neighbor or talking about videos, you have to like look up, I'm stuck in this dress. How do I escape? You know?
I
So
was like the saddest. I like literally took a photo of myself to send to my friend in New York, being like, "I wish you were here. Help me."
oh my
It was
god.
like stuck on my boobs. It was one of the dumbest things. Yep,
Oh my god.
yep.
Oh my
Being
god.
stuck is it's a Lolita experience. I think like a
Yeah.
universal Lolita experience. At least one time you've been stuck in your dress somehow. Somehow.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
There's a lot of other great questions here. You mentioned couture. I'm not familiar with that, but what is a dream piece for you?
Oh, I see like a dream piece to make. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and couture, my understanding of couture is basically it's handmade. I don't know if it also means one of a kind. And Haley, maybe you can kind of shed light on this. It's a translation from French, so it's you know what I mean. It's one of those things where I think everybody kind of takes it to be what they want it to be.
Yeah. What's really interesting, actually, just to jump in on this, is like the term haute couture, which is high couture. Actually, in order to even be considered haute couture by French, there's like a government agency that is in
Not
France that
surprised.
you have to like get these fucking like specific requirements of which particular shows that you're in. You have to have a salon in Paris. Like there's this really hilarious thing. So it's really fun. But there's a reason that like we don't use the term haute couture in the U.S. because we don't have this system.
Yeah.
And then there's an equivalent in Italian called alta moda.
Mhm.
So yeah, I again these are just really ridiculous terms, but couture just means like yeah, handmade, like, and when you're talking about like what goes into haute couture, we're talking every stitch is by hand,
Right.
and all of the
Which I'm
trims
not
are
doing.
handmade. Yeah, I know. So when we talk about couture as like outside of like high end fashion, we're kind of just talking about kind of like very one of a kind, very more curated pieces is what we mean for ourselves, typically speaking. But yeah,
Right.
that's kind of like the definition between these like strata. It's haute couture is all handmade, has to be produced in certain certified like places. It's very crazy.
Right. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I do agree. I tend to, when I think of couture, I think of kind of a one of a kind handmade piece, not necessarily stitched by hand, like you were saying,
It's
but
crazy.
definitely made by these little hands. So, but yeah, what is a dream piece? Let's see. What's a dream piece? I have this for that I mentioned that collection that I'm intending on working on sometime soon, the kind of skeletal and anatomy collection.
Mm-hmm.
And there's I it's tough, like I don't want to give too much away, but at the same time I should talk about this piece. I've been thinking about this specific dress for forever. Before I
Hey,
learned to
Brooke,
sew,
to
I
interrupt you really quick, someone
yeah.
says your volume got a little quieter.
Oh, my volume went down. Having trouble. All right, hold on. Let's see. I can turn it up a bit. All right, guys, is that a little better? Hopefully. Let me know, Cage. Thank you for letting me know.
Yep.
Um, okay, so yes, there's this one piece before I learned to sew. I'm just checking chat. Now let me know, Haley, if oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, great.
Yep, they say that's better. Yep. Mhm.
Thank you, thank you. So there's this one piece that I sorry, I keep starting this conversation. Before I learned to before I learned to sew, I had made on this. I had this like tiny little pincushion mannequin thing. It's like this big. I don't. It's somewhere. It's floating around here in my office somewhere. And I had hand sewed this because this concept has been in my head forever of this plunging dress with an you know, an anatomically correct heart, with a really really high gathered big skirt, big bow, just this type of punch you in the face type of design and feel, you know. So I have a couple designs like that where I'm like, I cannot get this out of my head. I can't get it out of my head. I need to make this. So like I said, at the time I knew that it was something, the construction, I want to be very specific and form fitting. And I knew that at the time I couldn't do that. And I'm really excited to be able to say that I think we're finally reaching this point, like I said, where I can get there. I can make it. Let's make it a reality. The patch in particular is going to be something that this heart that I want to make is going to be something that's going to be quite complicated. So that'll be a an interesting thing in itself. I actually I should mention. So this jacket that I have on, you guys, is, and I'm sure for those of you who have seen me sew this, it's got all these patches on the back. These things are gigantic. We each patch took us like 3.5 hours, 2.5 to 3.5 hours to stitch out with 30,000 stitches per.
Oh my
And the
god.
heart should be at least that big, if not a little bit bigger. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Are you doing that at home then?
Yeah, so I have an embroidery machine. Actually, it's sitting right behind me here. This is the Brother PE770. I eventually would love, talking about, you know, where I want to take my brand. I would love to do a couple machine upgrades, including getting an embroidery machine that has multiple colors, so I don't have to consistently switch it out. It's part of the
Oh my
reason why
gosh.
these patches can take so long, is because
So
you have
that's
to
I'm
plan.
surprised you don't want to send some of that stuff out though.
Yeah, you know, I'm just so particular about how things look. It's important to me that I have my hands on it. I know that that sounds silly, and it may be something that I consider in future for sure. But that being said, a patch of that size would cost between 75 and $100 a patch from my initial research, because of how large I want it to be.
Mhm.
So part of trying to save a little bit of money for my customers' end is trying to do that myself. So, yeah.
Yep. Ooh, I have some other questions. Let's see. How do you focus with all of us distracting you all the time over on your Twitch channel?
I love it. Oh my god, are you kidding me? And this is, what is this from? Oh, it's from Cage. Cage. Oh my gosh. I um I I don't know. I don't know what to say. I how do I focus? I don't.
You get
That's
stuff
the way
done
I work.
though, so
Yeah, no, but that's the way that I work. Okay, if I'm sitting upstairs and watching TV, I have to do something. I have to have my hands busy. So I'm this type of two brain type of person anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I love having layers of input, because for me, I think it keeps me sharp, and it keeps me energized. It gives me energy. It makes me really excited to keep going. You can usually tell, I know you guys probably know this, but from when we do our Twitch streams, if we have like a lot of people in chat, there's a lot of activity, we have a lot of fun. I don't want to stop. I'll go for 6 or 7 hours sometimes. Like, you know, you guys in chat can attest. It's a lot of work to do a 7 hour stream. Um, but I won't stop because it's so fun. It's so much fun. So I thrive off of it. I have to say, it's not a distraction to me. It is actually, it really fuels my creativity. So I love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Kate had another question, which was, are you planning to do men's clothing at any point?
I know. Oh my gosh, thank you for asking, Cage. And I know Cage has been asking me for a while to do men's clothes, and I appreciate it. I am. Recently, my husband had approached me and said that he would like me to start working on some formal pieces for his wardrobe. Um, and I think that this is a really good opportunity to start really delving into the men's side of this fashion, and seeing kind of where it takes me. It's going to take me a while. It took me a while, like I said, it took me a while to kind of figure out where my standpoint is on the clothing I make even now, you know, and what I want to say about it. So it's going to take me a while to kind of get there, but I'm really excited for that part of where TourNewSoul is going, is hopefully expanding and making some cool stuff. I'd love to make some jackets, particularly. I think it'd be really great. I made my husband a gift for Christmas one year. It was this kind of like a, I forgot the term for it. It's like an overcoat for like a yukata kind of. But
Kaori?
yeah, sort of, but
Hoppy
more.
coat?
Yeah, basically. It's a little bit more relaxed, right?
Hmm.
That he loves, and that's a design I definitely want to bring. Definitely want to bring to the website, and I think that's an easy one to start with. So there will definitely be more in the future for sure. I've
Nice.
been asked way too often to not give the people what they want. So
Hell yeah. I got another good question here. So, what was the inspiration for the strawberry themed line? We talked a little bit about like how you come with up with your ideas, but is there any like thing that really inspired you to pick strawberries?
yes, okay. Thank you for that question. And I'd say that what inspired me to choose strawberries? Okay, it's it's an interesting story. I've been planning a collection based on bread for a long time. I
Breb.
have Yes, it's coming up. I have some cool stuff. I've shown a couple patches that I've created on stream, so occasionally you'll see me pull them out. If you come hang out with me on stream and ask to see them, I'll definitely pull them out. And I have another collection based on other food items. I really like food, as it turns out. I have another mushroom collection that I'm planning on releasing at some point as well. It's a lot of food, very food focused, I guess.
I do that too, so I feel
Yeah,
you. I love doing foods. I got
I know.
watermelons out right now.
Yeah, no. If you hang out on our stream too, it's always one of the surefire conversations to come up in chat is always food every day, always food.
Good.
Very food focused. But yeah, so I had started with this collection, and initially I had worked the strawberries into that to kind of make it more like a picnic collection. And I felt that after really taking an editing eye to it, that these collections that I were creating were a little bit different. I felt that the color palettes were a little bit clashing. So I decided that why not take strawberries, which I love strawberries. Strawberries and peaches are like my two favorite fruits in general. I'm like, why don't I take this and just make it its own full collection? And that's what I did. As it turns out, strawberries are very popular in fashion right now.
They
So
are.
yeah, when I started the collection, I had no idea. I don't, to be honest with you, like as much as I'm a fashion designer, I should stay up to date with absolutely everything. I actually try not to. I'd like to stay up to date, but not so much that I don't want to I don't know how else to put it, but kind of like taint my own ideas. So I try to be very careful with how much media input I take in at a time. So I didn't realize that I knew that there was like that strawberry dress that was super popular that had gone around, I think, last year. And I was like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, so they were popular at some point. That's cool. I mean, I don't care. I'll make whatever. If I like it, like I said, if I want to wear it, I'm making it. That's it. But yeah, that's kind of how I got there. And then I found this print. And this print that I have on, it's not, they're not pure circles. If you guys look on my website, you can see the print a little bit closer. They really do look like strawberry seeds. And I was like, it speaks to me. We have to make it. So that's kind of how I chose that. It all kind of just clicked into place, and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. Let's do it. So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna see if there's any other questions. Oh, here's one. How
Go
do you
for it.
keep track of tasks? And do you have an app or write things down, or do you just mostly like feel like you keep it in your head?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Alrude. I am actually I've been recently looking for more of a task managing app because we have so many commissions coming in nowadays that I really want to make sure that we can keep track of due dates and things like that. Very important. So I'm looking to find a good one. If anyone has any good suggestions, let me know. I'd love to download whatever you tell me to. But for the most part, I just keep them written down. I have a calendar that's off screen here that I will keep handwritten notes for, and that's generally how I keep track of these things. And I also always insist that you email me. If you're not emailing me, I will lose it. So
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of inquiries through Instagram, like
Yep, me too.
Messenger, Facebook Messenger, right, or Discord, and I really appreciate it. It's awesome, but I'm always like, email me, because I can look up an email, but I will lose it otherwise. So
It's
it's really,
true.
really, really important. So those are kind of just those simple ways that I really do my best to stay organized. But again, I mentioned this before, as an artist, I tend to have a little bit more of a scatterbrain about these things. So I have to really stay focused. And you guys know this from my stream. You know this because I jump to conversations all the time. And if you like redeem a hydrate and I don't hydrate for 15 minutes because I totally forgot, I have to like have these things in front of me. So at least I know that.
I was
That's a good
uh
start.
Yeah, I was like looking at my phone. I was trying to find this. I have a friend who's also a different type of indie designer, and she uses an app called Asana. I don't know what it is, but I see her posting her lists all the time of like where she is in commissions and stuff. So I was like,
Yeah,
maybe this will be a good tool for you. I'll type it into the chat here, but
please do. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome. Asana. Sounds fancy.
uh, boop. That's yeah, that's what she uses. I don't know, but I see her posting on Facebook a lot of like where she is in her project line. So
Yeah, no,
hopefully that works.
really appreciate that. Thank you, Asana.
Hmm.
See, I'm glad I asked. Got to ask for help.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, keeping track of where you are and stuff's hard. That's why I was like, I can't do commissions anymore. I'm not allowed. I'm not doing
You
that.
know, I love commissions though. That yeah, it can be really difficult to keep track of them, but it's fun because my brain works in one way, and being able to be approached by people that have a completely different mindset and vision for their creative, picture in their head that they want me to make is really fun. It can be very, especially at first when I started these for clothing in particular. The hats I feel extremely confident about. Clothing, I still feel nervous, like, oh my gosh, I hope that I can deliver this. But every single time that I get a new commission for these things, it's so exciting too, because it's forcing me to have to look at things in a different way, and I really appreciate that. I think it's really forced me to grow as a designer too. And there are things that I'm making right now for commission that I'm like, I never would have made this, but man, I love this. Like, oh, now I want to make this for real, like for for the next collection. Let's do it. I'm on it. Let's go. Let's go. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like it's definitely very rewarding, but I just in terms of like it interrupts my other creative flow so much to do it
Yeah.
that I can't do it anymore. Like I love it. I love working with clients. It's a lot of fun, but it doesn't net enough like money for me to stop doing the other stuff, and it interferes too much with my other schedule.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. It is a very unfortunate part of some things for some people. So,
But what's great is that you have the choice in that. You know what I mean? And as an
yeah.
artist, I think that's one of the most important things is, like I said, it's sustainability. If you feel like you're going to burn out from that, don't do it, because
Yep.
it's better to keep going with what you love to do than to feel like I can't do this for 5 months. Like I need a break.
I can't imagine 5 months of commissions. Uh, that sounds like my nightmare. It's
It's fun.
not
You
for
can like
me.
jump on stream and do it. It's really fun. I swear.
Yeah, not for me. Oh man, there's so many good questions. What are the other crafty things that you maybe like to watch?
Crafty things I like to watch. Oh man. Okay, let me think about this for a second. Crafty
Yeah.
things I like to watch. So there are other streams I love to watch. There's a couple that are extremely inspirational to me. There's one that I found recently. This streamer named Sarah. She goes under the name Mega Felt. She makes these felt related just burgers and
Oh my
other
God, that's so
they
great.
it's amazing. I highly recommend anyone who has not seen Megafelt stuff to look up Megafelt. Sarah is such a cool creator, and every time I jump into her streams, I'm like, oh my god, my brain. Like I always say, it's like my brain is being tickled because there's this little just bit where it's like, man, I never thought about looking at things like this, and then I do, and I'm like, I'm so inspired. What? Like what? Like I don't even. It's like an overload. I get so excited. So yeah, I actually end up hanging out on Twitch a lot for that. Makers and Crafting is a great place to meet some really cool creators. So Mega Felts is one of them. In terms of other things I watch that are crafty, I love watching Project Runway. I know that that might sound a little basic, but every time I'm feeling like I need to be inspired to go faster, I will stick on Project Runway, and I just
Oh.
hear Tim's voice in my head, like, "Make it work. It's got to get done." And I'm like, "It's got to get done, Tim. It's got to get done."
Oh my God, did you ever like apply to that?
Oh my gosh. I used to think there's no way I could do it, but now that I've been on stream, and I think I've had better management of kind of like of of this social aspect along with the creative aspect at the same time, like doing both at once. I don't know, I kind of think I could. I just couldn't handle not sleeping. As
Oh
long as I
yeah.
get sleep, I'm fine. But what I've read is that the people on Project Runway, like generally they're asleep for like 4 hours a day, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like that is the
Yeah.
one no.
I'm
Feed me and
like,
let me sleep. That's it.
yeah, we're doing like a roundtable discussion for Purgatorio, and Samantha Ray will be a part of it.
Oh,
So I've
cool.
definitely had chances to talk to her about some of those challenges. And I had another friend who got like really far along in the application process, and I'm like, every time I've been involved close enough, I'm like, ooh, not for me.
Yeah, I've only heard horror stories, but then again, I think that I watch a lot of Top Chef, which I know isn't. I don't know if you guys would consider that crafty, but I actually find
I
it to be
do.
quite inspiring. Yeah, Top Chef and Chef's Table. I'm a for those of you who watch me stream, and for those of you who don't, I'm a huge cook. I love cooking. That's why I do it on stream occasionally. But and I look at it as another form of the creative process, and it's really inspiring because you see, particularly with Top Chef, you see these people put themselves through the ringer to such a degree. And what I see is that if they can make it through on the other side, they are so much stronger as a chef. In Project Runway, I think it's the same. I think for the designers, yeah, it's probably one of the hardest. Just from afar, I can say I can see that it's one of the hardest processes that someone can put themselves through. It's a boot camp, but I can only imagine coming out on the other side of that and seeing people's progress firsthand, watching as they develop as designers. You see that change and that growth. And that's so inspiring. That's really cool. So, you know what I mean? It's like you ask me, would I go on there? I kind of want to. I mean, why not?
I
Like,
I think it's definitely more interesting for people who are more towards the beginning of their career, um, who like that I think want to do it and I think find it interesting because I think it's hard for people who like really have a very distinct point of view to do very well.
yeah,
Because I found like, for example, Samantha Ray had a very distinct point of view and like it wasn't what they wanted. Because like if the challenges you have to like tailor to the challenge.
yeah.
And I think that can be really hard if you don't enjoy stepping out of your point of view very much.
I totally agree. And I think that one of the hardest things is the fact that these judges have to be judging objectively, even though what they're judging is very subjective. So, and it's also about what's in fashion. Oh, that's tough to say because usually some of the most obscure things that you may say are out of fashion 2 years ago are now completely in fashion. I mean,
Yeah.
so I totally agree. And actually, that is one of the things I thought about too, Haley, is it's like, well, would they be open minded to the type of creating I do, or would somebody say, "Oh, this is too young looking"? Well, what's too
Yeah.
young? My
Yeah.
audience nowadays, like when I started my business, yeah, my audience was around the same age as me. I mean, I started when I was basically like barely 20. I was really young, and now I can say that the audience has grown with me, and the clothes that I make, they might be young, but at the same time, I think that that's what the people that I sell to, that's what they want, is you want
We want
youth.
that nostalgia vibe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why do we have to dress in suits every day? Like wear
Never.
a cute skirt, like rock it. You know what I mean? Like wear a pink sleeve bomber jacket to work. Like who's gonna say no? I mean, it's a jacket, you know. So I'm saying like, yeah, I totally agree. I think that fashion is so subjective, and that is a tough one. That's a really tough one
Yeah.
to be judged on that and say it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's
That's
hard.
really tough.
Anyways. Dokio asked a really good question, which is what's your favorite fabric to like work
What's my
with, fall
favorite
back on?
fabric? Thank you, Doki, and thank you for all your good questions. What's my favorite fabric to work with? Okay. What There's it's two-part answer. My favorite fabric to work with, I'd say, is just a basic cotton, not a thin or scratchy cotton, but just a really delicious cotton. um, but my absolute favorite fabric to incorporate into things is tencel twill. I love tencel twill. I'm
Hmm.
obsessed with tencel twill. That's actually what this jacket is lined in and what my sleeves are. It
Oh,
is
neat.
somehow it is like the most luxe yummy fabric I've ever worked with. I want to put it on everything. I made a pair of I'm calling them my birthday pants because I made them for my birthday on stream. And those are made out of tencel twill, and it's like being in pajamas that are fancy. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm obsessed with tencel twill. And I've also actually been told that tencel twill is a very sustainable fabric to
Nice.
make. And it's very ethically sourced. It's just such a cool fabric. The only thing is that it's quite expensive. So
Mm.
you have to
Yeah,
pay for quality, right?
yeah, I feel you. I mean, I love like there's like a silk wool twill that I made a dress out of for a client once, and it was just like the way it shined and like the lift up. Oh, so yummy, but it's like $70 a yard. I was like, nah.
Yep,
Yeah.
and, the tough part is I always gravitate towards stuff like that, those types of really delicious fabrics. The most one of the most difficult parts for me during this pandemic is the fact that I couldn't go in person and touch fabrics and, like, really pick out
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted because
Tactile is really important.
exactly, it's a huge part of the fabrics that I choose. I'll choose a fabric
Ooh.
based on feel more than whatever it's called. It doesn't matter to me if I can see it, if I can feel it, and I'm like, this is good stuff. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
choose fabrics. Um, but yeah, so not having that was really, really tough. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I think it can be tough because I, for me, I always try to keep my price point at least relatively accessible. And it can be really, really tough to find stuff that feels luxe but is still accessible like that. So trying to find that balance can be a tough one. But that's also actually why I want to start approaching kind of these every once in a while these couture pieces that are one of a kind that I can just go all out on because that's the point. Is
Yeah.
go for it. You know.
Yep. It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Another good question. I think it's somebody talking about themselves. Do you wish you got commissions for menswear to give you a challenge, or would that be kind of outside of your comfort zone at this point in
Mr.
time?
Free, thank you so much for that question. Do I wish I got commissions for menswear? I have been approached to do a couple menswear pieces by commission. So that has happened. And what I've basically said is along the lines of I just need a little bit of time to figure out what I'm doing with it. So yeah. Do I wish I got commission for it? I always want to get commission. Are you kidding? Even if it adds to my list, I may not be able to get to you for 6 months, but I promise you, if you pay for it, you're on my list. We're good to go. You will get your item. um, but yeah, I do definitely already have a couple inquiries on that, and you know what? It has actually forced me to look at it a little bit quicker. I tend to be, if you can't tell already, I tend to be a little bit of a slow to draw when it comes to new things. I'm a slow to warm up type of person. You know what I mean? Like I gotta think about it. I gotta dip my foot in a little bit and like, do I feel comfortable with this? And it's so silly because I usually end up at the end of the day just jumping in the pool. You know what I mean? In this analogy, I'm just never mind, whatever. Let's just go for it. The impulsive Brooke comes out at the weirdest moment. Fine. Let's you know what? Let's do it on stream. First time, never done this before. Let's do it live in front
Let's
of
do it.
a ton of people. This could totally go wrong. What could happen?
What's the worst? And
What's
just
the worst that could happen? I don't know. But yeah. So I have in fact had that come up, and I'm glad that it has. I really am. So we'll see where it goes from here.
yeah,
Like I said, I'm going to be looking into jackets, and in fact, actually, this jacket that I made for this collection, which we have one more piece in our shop for, if you are interested in it, not you in particular, Haley, but anybody who's watching. We have one more piece left, and then that's it. That's going to be the end of the run. But these, in particular, are unisex, so anybody can wear it. So
yeah. That's a really cute piece.
thank you, I appreciate it. It's
I
it's
could
one of my
really
favorite
see
pieces.
like Sean Boy or whatever his name is. I'm really terrible. God, there's a Instagram like J fashion influencer kind of non-binary person
Yes, yes,
who
yes.
loves pink, and I just could see them wearing that
Oh,
so much.
absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they live down in LA, so yeah.
100%.
Oh my God, so their style. Oh, got another good question. Where does most of your work come from? Is it commissions or is it, orders that you need to fulfill?
It's a little bit of both. So the way that it used to work is that I would mostly sell in person at conventions. So most of the work that I did was preparing for conventions. So back then, that was usually. 'Cause, keep in mind, I've only been releasing clothing collections because, like I said, I had been waiting until I felt that my skill level was at the same level as the hats. So I've only started releasing collections since Ursa Major 1. So that was what, like last year? I mean,
Yep.
that was right. So that was my first clothing collection was the Stargazer collection. So before that, the way it would work is I'd sign up for Anime Expo and then be like, okay, I have to make 350 or 400 hats. Let's do this. It's a lot of hats. And then not sleep for 3 months. But
A
now,
mood.
yes, exactly. Nowadays, like I said, because I'm focusing so hard on the online shop and on the work I have currently, it's a mix between commissions and current collections. Um, I always like participating in the Bay Area K events because it really forces me to think about what collection I would want to release, how many pieces I can release for it, and kind of what I want to do there. So that's a really good kind of like focus point. So I love doing this. And thank you so much for running those, by the way. Those are like tons of fun. They're super cool. I talk to my audience about it all the time, how much I love them. So
Oh,
yeah, they're great.
thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. We have a good time, and my team is amazing. I really couldn't do those without them.
Oh yeah, you guys are awesome. You are super awesome. So it was, and then so basically for a while it was mostly collections, but now that I've been, releasing these clothing pieces for, I guess, a little over a year, now it's kind of a mix between the two. The commissions came in trickle at first, and now it is a literal waterfall. I'm so thankful. I have to catch up, you guys. So much stuff. There's so much stuff to sew. So yeah, now it's kind of a mix of everything. It's all sorts of stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. I'll see if they have any more last thoughts before I let you go. But I just want to thank you again for taking some time today to talk with us.
Yeah,
It's been
of
really
course.
wonderful having you here.
Of course. I love it. I just, thank you. Thank you for asking me to be here. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. Yeah, otherwise I just, you know, it's just, this has been such a cool experience. It's been a cool experience as a designer to like you said, to take, my designs from accessories for such a long time into clothing, and challenge myself. And it's been such a fun experience, getting such an awesome and positive reaction from it. I never knew where it would take me. Just like with Twitch, when I said I didn't have any expectation, I didn't really have any expectation for the clothing either. I feel like I was just gonna kind of see what would happen, and I'm touched by the response. Honestly, it's as a creator, as an artist, you never know when you, like my brand name, you when you put your heart and your soul into everything that you make, and everything that you make, you never know how people are going to respond to that. That's vulnerability being put out there, and you don't know how people are going to take it back. You know what I mean? Are they going to say, no, I hate this? Or, and it's never been like that. It's never been like that. And I'm so thankful, seriously. So yeah. Oh,
We have one more question, and
sure.
it is, how's the search for the new PC going?
Good question. It is going. Haley, I know you haven't. Yeah, I know you haven't been on my stream yet. I talk about I'm running off of a laptop right now, and I'm really thankful um, that the laptop has survived this long. I have a 7-year-old laptop, which I guess
Oof.
in technology land is like very old.
It's a dinosaur. That's like my
I
my
know.
rig is a dinosaur too, so I feel you.
Yes. It's a little old grandpa like laptop. I love it. I can't believe it survived this long with OBS, which is a very demanding program
Mm-hmm.
to run. I always joke around because I can't open up any other apps when I
Oh
run
yeah.
OBS because my little grandpa
Oh.
computer would die. So, but yeah, the search is going well. I have a lot of great information. I had asked the community if they had any good suggestions or just a place to start me in, because I like to say I'm good at a lot of things, but technology is just one of those things that I'm kind of slow to warm up to. So yeah, it's going well. I'm looking. We're gonna see what we can find. There's a shortage of pretty much everything right now, so it's kind of the worst time to be buying a PC. But you know
It's
what?
it's
No
gotten
worries.
a tiny bit better because China outlawed all of the cryptocurrency
Okay.
mines. So it's gotten a teensy bit better in like the last 2 months.
All
So
right.
now's a good
That's
time to be looking.
okay. This is good. This is very, very good to know.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because I had to do some Illustrator work last week for a client, and I was like, it would crash like every 20 minutes, and I had like my GPU because I had to end the task all the time, so I had like the task manager up, so I could see it wasn't my CPU,
Yeah.
and it wasn't my RAM, my memory, definitely the graphics card that was like,
God.
I can't do this.
Yeah, it's a rough one. It's a really, really rough one. Technology is a fickle beast.
So I totally feel you, and I need to upgrade my beastie as well. So one day, it's a very familiar
Yeah.
situation.
No, totally, totally.
I
Oh, for
got
sure.
another question, which I think is a really good one. Where does your name brand brand name come from?
Brand name come from? Good question. Thank you, Carrie, for asking.
Good one.
Yeah, I know I get this question a lot. I okay. I've tried to I've tried to make it a shorter conversation because it's a really long story. But essentially, my favorite my favorite flower in the whole world is a sunflower. And in French, tournesol means sunflower. So
Oh,
I
cute.
knew, yeah, yeah. So I'm really inspired by sunflowers. I love their positivity and just positive energy, and I really think that sunflowers are a very good representation of the energy that I bring into the brand. And that's part of why I knew that the sunflower was a really, really important motif and thing to focus on for the brand name. The second part of that is there's this really great movie called The Cat Returns by Studio
Mm-hmm.
Ghibli, and they talk in the Cat Returns. There's this like very specific line in there that talks about the fact that when an artist puts their whole heart into something, it's given a soul. And so I kind of took those two concepts and met them together. So we broke down torn soul to be phonetically spelled torn new soul, to represent both the positivity and happiness that sunflowers have, this kind of radiating sunshine, mixed with the concept of always bringing my whole heart into every single thing that I make, and that is truly what gives it a soul. And that's how we arrived there. And I have to say, I think that it's a really great representation and a good reminder day to day when I work on my business, what what my mindset should be and what ethic I bring to the table when it comes to the work that I do. It just always put my heart into it. I always have to care. I always am invested in every single piece that I make. So yeah.
That's a great brand name story. I'm just like, I want to be gothic and kind of elegant, so just black ribbon's fine.
But black ribbon is perfect, and you can put black ribbons on everything. It's easy.
I
It's
think my
fast.
logo tends to wash off my labels, and it just turns into a strip of black ribbon. So I always think that's funny. I'm like, it's my bread. It's a piece of black ribbon. It's fine.
Black ribbon. There you go.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think yours is a very beautiful story.
Thank you
So
so much. Thank you.
yeah.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, it means a lot to me. So yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've got to hang out in person. I think that was like Anime Expo like 3, 4 years ago,
I
maybe
think it was
more.
longer. Yeah, yeah. No,
It's
I
been a
remember
while.
though. It was awesome.
That was a great time. It was a lot though. And I remember being so tired at the end of it, like while everyone was packing, because I had to be the one like other car for all the people. I like blacked out in
Oh
the
my God.
parking lot for like 30 minutes before we like left. Because I was just like, I can't. If I have to drive, I need to be asleep. I can't pack for you guys.
Right, right. Oh my gosh.
Con life, right? I don't know if I miss it or not. Do you?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I miss it? I miss the rush of meeting new people face to face, and sharing in the the love of like the stuff that I make. As an artist, I don't think that there's any better feeling. And I get that a lot from Twitch, which is why I brought up
Mm-hmm.
about the convention feel. Is you get to really like experience that excitement and joy that people see from the stuff that I made with my hands. Like that's the craziest and coolest and like most amazing feeling in the whole world as an artist.
Super rewarding.
Yeah, like there are times when it gets me so emotional. I mean, honestly,
Oh,
I've been doing this for 10 years. I still get emotional. If somebody, it's the right time of day and somebody's like, "I love your work. You make the most beautiful things." I'm just like, I'm going to cry. Just excuse me for a moment. Like, thank you. That's so
oh.
nice. But yeah, so I miss that part of it. I also really liked setting up when I wouldn't say recently, but it's been about maybe 4 years, maybe a little bit less of doing a booth, an actual like full booth to myself,
Mm-hmm.
an exhibitor's booth instead of an artist alley table. And I missed that because I liked the concept of setting it up like a boutique, a pop up boutique. And for me, that was really fun to see it in action and happen.
Yeah.
But do I miss loading in, waking up early, you know, constantly starving myself. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, especially for me, I never leave my table. You guys, like, I don't drink water. I like don't go to the bathroom. I don't eat food, and it's not good. It's not sustainable. Like, talk about sustainability. Like, you got to take care of yourself. But I'm so like, I need to be here. I need to be here. So do I miss that for 12 hours a day? No. I
Oh
know
my
that if I go
god.
back, I'm gonna have to take breaks. Like there are things that have to change.
Mhm.
And that's okay. That's actually probably a good thing. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like yeah, I've got a few things booked for fall already, and I'm just like trying to get back into that mindset is like
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, just the concept of loading up your car and being like, can everything fit? Where do I put everything? Like for me, I mostly do California conventions. Although that being said, I would really like to start just kind of branching out a bit. That would be fantastic. Just
yeah.
kind of, I mean, especially after this whole Twitch thing and just meeting people from all over the world, it's become very clear to me. It doesn't really matter where you live. If you like Hawaii stuff, you hopefully will like my stuff, and so I should just go everywhere. Just
Yeah.
go.
One of the shows I've applied to for the fall is Anime New York, which I've done before. And yeah, I'm much more like I've decided the artist alley is like the right size for me. Just like I don't want to produce that much stuff.
Yeah.
And like I love the look of a booth, but like I'm like, I can live without it. And I can
Right.
throw enough stuff in a suitcase that I can like go to these further away ones and fly there and it's not like a giant I don't want to do the road trip. I don't want to do it.
It's a lot. Like even just driving up to I'm based in LA, so even just driving up to like San Francisco or for Fan
That's a
Week,
long drive.
it
Yeah. I
can
drove down
suck.
to
Yeah.
the Anime Expo. I drove down there and it's a long fucking drive.
Oh, and
Sucks.
Anime Expo is so much fun. For those of you who don't know, Anime Expo is like the biggest anime convention I believe in the US. It's got 100 more than 100,000 people attending every year. It is
So hot though.
it's a lot. It's a lot. Oh my god. Overwhelmingly large is the only way you can possibly sum up Anime Expo. And I have to say, like, I miss it and I don't at the same time. Anime Expo has always been a weird one for me. I they had raised their prices so much on their artist alley tables. When I used to go to Anime Expo when I started TourNewSoul, we had our only booth once a year was Anime Expo in the artist alley, and it was $100. Then it was 125.
Mhm.
Then it was 150, and now it's I think $600.
Holy God, Jesus! I like. There's very few cons that can even ask that. And
Yeah,
for what? I went down to the artist alley that one year I went, and I was just like, this is a mess.
it's
Like I couldn't find anything I wanted. It was too crowded. It was making me uncomfortable. Like
that's the biggest issue. It's packed like elbow to elbow. I'm not sure how they're going to deal with the fact that since COVID has happened, they can't really. I don't think that it's you can really do that anymore. You can't pack it that tight. So I'm curious how they're going to handle that. So who knows? Maybe I'll consider Anime Expo again. Just if there's a little bit. For me, it's also like I said, it's about interacting with people. So I love it and I hate it at the same time. I love it because I get to meet so many new people because it's such a big convention, but at the same time, you never really have a chance to take a breath because there's so many people. So it's a two-edged sword, you know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it regardless. Even just as an attendee, I miss going to conventions and dressing up and having fun. Just even as an attendee, I haven't done that in years. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Miss AX, not the crowds. That's a mood.
Yeah, no, for
That's
sure.
a mood.
Yeah, that is a mood.
Whole mood. Same for pretty much all the cons. I think that's yeah. I was invited to Dragon Con this year and I was like, I can't, guys. Like I just that's too many people too quickly for me.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
transitioning out of COVID. I was like, I don't think I'm ready to see that number of people. I think that's one of the bigger cons in the country.
Mm.
Like Anime Expo is one of the biggest anime cons. Dragon Con is one of the biggest sci-fi fantasy cons, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's
don't
it's a
think
lot.
I'm ready for 20, 30,000 people.
Right.
I don't
Right.
think I'm
Well,
ready
yeah,
for
and
that.
especially post COVID. I mean, for me, I've got my both vaccine or both shots and everything, and I'm very 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 thankful for that. But do I still feel nervous about it? It's
Yeah.
going to take me a while. I had seen this thing posting floating around on the internet like, oh, conventions should do this where you put on a different bracelet depending like green if you're totally good or
Mm-hmm.
yellow
I
if
saw
you're
that
not.
meme.
Which is smart, but at the same time, I made me feel nervous because I thought I'd probably put on a yellow, but then people would think I'm not vaccinated, and I'm like, I am vaccinated. I just like I still just
Not ready though. Yeah.
I
Totally
need to feel
understand that.
positive space.
Yeah, I just like this
Yeah,
is me.
yeah,
Stay away.
exactly. Yeah,
Totally feel that because like yeah, the thing with Dragon Con is in Atlanta and like Georgia's got such a bad number right now. I was just like Like, I love Atlanta, but I don't the people come from all over, and I don't know where they're coming from, and it's in the
Yeah.
South, and again, I love the South, but y'all been doing real bad on your vaccination numbers, so I'm like, Imma have to pass this year.
It's not probably a pretty that's a solid call. That's a solid call. But yeah, we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. Like in future, maybe who knows? If there's one thing that COVID has taught me, it's that you really cannot predict the future. You just gotta kind of take
Yes.
it day by
You
day.
just gotta roll with the punches, and you gotta be flexible, and I think, the more flexible people have been this year, those are the resilient brands that have, like, made it through this, so.
That's true. I mean, and to be honest, in fact, I've been so thankful. I have to say, I think my sales have gone up since COVID. So, I'm interested to kind of see what happens from here on out. But I think that in a lot of ways, people probably were looking for some like retail therapy and just something to kind of
Mhm.
just brighten up their day. And I'm thankful that TourNewSoul was one of those brands that could do that. But I mean, we'll see what happens from here on out.
Yep.
What's really cool is the fact that, like I said, since I only started releasing my clothing about a year ago, I do feel like it's in enough people's hands now that they can see the quality. And I'm
Yeah.
just hoping it's just going to keep snowballing it. And so far, so good. So, we'll
I
see
don't
what
think
happens.
you're gonna have a problem with that, I think you're gonna be great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I see another person ask about your menswear line, so I think this is a sign. I think this is the thing that you might wanna get into.
Tito, yes. I promise you guys I'm looking into it. And like I said, my husband is big advocate of this because he really wants to start wearing my clothing. So yeah, but like I said, my jackets are unisex sizing. You know what I mean? Like they can accommodate a little bit more of a bulky shoulder, which I think is great. But hey, if anyone wants to start wearing skirts, there's a reason why they're elastic. They're very comfortable. Doesn't matter.
Yep. I have a I
They're
have
just
a
cute.
really
No, but
yeah.
I am looking at it for sure. This is something that will be coming up for sure. There's
Hell
a
yeah.
couple different things. Like I said, menswear on the horizon as well as a loungewear. I've been lounging around for a year and I keep thinking about it. So it's time. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I wanted to thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope this was fun for you. And hopefully, I'll see you sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Thank you again so much. Thank you to everybody who came and hung out today, asked questions, and was here. I really appreciate it. And again, for those of you who have not joined us on Twitch yet, like I said, I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday,
The link
11
is below. Check it out.
yeah, check it out for sure. Come drop a follow and hang with us. And we have a super active Discord. It's a cool community, you guys. Like, I mean, I don't want to be like full of myself here, but I gotta say, like, our community is like one of the most positive, good vibes communities on the internet that I have found. Somehow it's happened. We found the good part of the internet. So, how did that happen? I don't know.
Twitch Creative is a great place to be for sure.
For sure, for sure. So
It's
yeah, so
true.
come hang out with us. Thank you so much for
All
having
right.
me. Seriously, thank you again.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys. Thank you so much. When I get it. Bye.